Blue eyes! White dragon! Oh!
Seto!
Oh! Mokuba!
What are you doing?
I'm getting ready for the next greatest YouTuber competition.
But you're touching yourself!
Yes, I believe that the best way to get in touch with the Blue Eyes on an intimate level is to fap to her.
No, that's disgusting!
Shut up, Mokuba. What's up, you players? KaibaJeremy1 here, and yes, I'm going to be doing a card discussion on the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
KaibaJeremy1, we already know about the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Don't you dare unsub my brother!
Enough of that. Let's jump into the discussion. The first release of an English Blue Eyes White Dragon was in the OCG, believe it or not. It was the 3rd generation collection on October 10th, 1998. But the first English TCG release of the Blue Eyes White Dragon was in, you guessed it, The Legend of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Released on March 8th, 2002, followed by the Dark Duelist stories, and started at Kaiba. Believe it or not, there are only around 14 cards in the Blue Eyes White Dragon Archtype. Here they are for you guys. When the Blue Eyes first came out, almost everybody wanted her at 3 in their deck. But sadly, as time went on, the Blue Eyes saw less and less play. By the time Cybernetic Revolution came out, everyone and their mother made fun of anybody that was running Blue Eyes in their decks, saying that if you run Blue Eyes White Dragon in your decks, that you were a scrub. Here in recent years, the Blue Eyes White Dragon has been seeing a lot more play in her own deck, the Blue Eyes Maiden deck. But the Blue Eyes White Dragon has been seeing a lot more play in the Mythic Rulers deck as a draw engine and a 3000 beat stick. In this deck that uses Blue Eyes White Dragon is actually sitting at a tier 1 or 2-ish game state. You heard me, a deck that uses Blue Eyes is sitting at a tier 1 or 2-ish game state. That makes me very happy. If you're going for a pure Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, Maiden with Eyes of Blue is your new favorite card. Her effect states that if you target her for an attack, switch her to defense, negate the attack, and special summon a Blue Eyes. And if she's targeted by a card effect, doesn't negate the effect, but it special summons a Blue Eyes. The only downside is you only can use her effect once per turn and only once. She is an amazing card for this archetype. Although I can't mention them all, here are 3 cards that I believe you might want to put in your deck to trigger Maiden's effect. Bright Star Dragon, Forbidden Lance, and Safe Zone. The deck focuses on using Maiden's effect, Silver's Cry, and Azure Eyes Silver Dragon's effect to spam out, you guessed it, Blue Eyes White Dragon. And it does so quite well. But if you want a more competitive deck, I suggest the Mythic Rulers. Do you believe, or have you ever believed, that just because somebody uses Blue Eyes White Dragon in their deck, that they were a scrub? How do you think the Blue Eyes should be used? In her own deck, or Mythic Rulers? And which do you think is more effective? How many effective ways can you use the Blue Eyes White Dragon? And last but not least, how many Blue Eyes White Dragons do you have in your collection? I must have them all. Thank you all for watching. Please vote for me as the next greatest YouTuber by liking this video. Thanks again, peace for now.